Beckman Unleashed podcast number 57.
58.
58.
We are live.
It's a lot of podcasts. All right.
It's Derek Thompson, right? Or Thomas? Derek Thomas?
Derek Thomas. I was wrong 2 weeks ago. Derek Thomas, yeah. For those longtime listeners, you know what we're talking about. So this podcast, we were talking about it before this, but we didn't talk about this. This podcast is like when you're dating a girl and like you're into her, but you're not sure why, really. You just can't kind of get out of it, and you don't want to get out of it.
The part of you wants to break up, right?
Part of you wants to break up, but like you just keep getting pulled back in, and even your friends are like, yeah, no, she's cool. Like, yeah. And you're like, no, she's really, and then you kind of start to go, oh, but you just can't get out of it, and you don't want to get out of it.
What is it about it that makes you want to get out of it?
The time, the energy, and then you go, well, I'm not putting energy into the relationship. So in the it just, if you put a bunch of energy into it, it'll get better.
Can I be honest with you for a second?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for some of the people in the pod, like the hardcores that show up,
oh, yeah.
I would just say, Joel,
we'd be done with this whole thing. Yeah.
I just love some of these.
So people. I go through it and I go, okay, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about dogs the whole time? Then I go, maybe they want that. I go, I'm not talking about dogs the whole time. And then we go, we're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about fighting homeless people. Like I do, getting into arguments in cars and do this at night. But it's just a relationship that's hard to get out of. And I don't want to get out of it. I want to be in it.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about this today.
Yeah, but the girl situation, it's apropos.
Is it like it's like midnight?
I've been in relationships
you got
like
that.
That.
You got a page from her? Is that kind of how it feels? Remember pagers?
I do remember pagers.
Okay. Some of these people listening to this just went right over their head.
Yeah. So that's what the podcast is like. It's this thing that we don't want to get out of, but we're not sure really what it does for us.
But I know what it does for us.
Yeah, I know. Nothing. Yeah. It's a place for us to come, and it is fun though. It is fun.
We like the people.
Yeah, that's really it.
That's the heart and soul of this thing is the people.
I like the phone calls. I like the people can call me and ask me questions. They have
calls,
that ability.
Yeah, the phone calls.
I like
with the live, with the phone calls made it more energetic. I do kind of miss when we used to just like go off Deep Space Nine style on some really like far out stuff, and we didn't have the audience to bring us back. Oh. Yeah, but we would go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Now we don't do that as much because we got people just throwing $75 at us every time we,
they bring us back a little bit. Yeah, like we should do a highlight podcast of just me like saying insane things. Like remember when I said that like I wasn't sure if stars existed, and you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. You thought the Earth was flat, right?
I don't think the Earth is flat, but I'm not sure stars are suns out there. I mean, there's a lot of things that
they could be gaseous balls of fire, like they said on The Lion King.
Yes, they could be whatever they want. Okay, So here's the topic for today, and then we'll get into some other stuff. There is a reason that exotic breeds or unpopular breeds are unpopular. Okay? People get these breeds you've never heard of, and then they almost always have problems, and then they wonder why they're problems, and they come to me and I go, there's a reason you've never seen a Kvass before. You got one.
Isn't that a type of drink?
I have no idea.
Kvassier?
Kvassier,
oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Kvass, I believe, is French. It might be like Polish.
French, I would think.
It's a guard dog. We put it in the thumbnail. It looks like a lab in a way. I've trained one, and it wanted to kill me when I went near the car. But it's kind of a lab-looking guy. There's a reason that they're not running around everywhere.
Because they try to kill people?
It could be, but all these dogs have these quirks. A Northern Inuit dog, which got popular with Game of Thrones, I trained one and did a video on it like 3 months ago. And it was one of the most scared dogs I've ever had in my life. Like, there's a reason. It's like you go buy a Toyota, you know what you're getting. There's this other car company right now. I see him like 1 in 1,000 cars. They're called like Genesis or something. And I'm just like, what is that?
I think it's a Hyundai, isn't it?
I don't know. It's a Genesis. And I'm like, What is this car company? I've never heard of this in my life, but I see it driving around. Oh, Hungarian Kuvas. Yeah, Hungary. I was kind of in the right part of the world. But got there's a can you have a bad golden retriever or lab? Absolutely, you can. So here's but these random breeds, there's a reason they're random. Okay. So here's what I think you should do. If you're going to get one of these exotic breeds, you need to do a lot of work on finding the breeder. Okay. You need to have good breeding because there's a reason the dog is not popular. You got to figure that reason out. There is a reason. It's like when someone does videos and they've done it for years and they go, I don't have any views or subscribers. It's because no one cares about your video. Like there is a reason you don't have any views or subscribers. It's because you suck.
Yeah.
So
there's a reason why you have 550,000 subs.
There is a reason. I don't totally know the reason, but there is a reason.
Yeah. Just to fact check you, it looks like Genesis is registered trademark of Hyundai Motor.
Oh, so I think it's their like luxury version.
It's like a flagship kind of thing they have,
Oh, so they did. Yeah. Well, it's the luxury version, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was luxury. A Hyundai Genesis, and they almost tried to make it like a brand with like different levels of whatever. But it looks a bit like a Bentley. But continue
a bit till a Bentley pulls up.
Yeah, that's like I
know.
Who is that joke?
Yeah, anyone? It was about Chrysler's. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to get them from a good breeder, and you're going to learn about the quirk. And there is a quirk, or they would be golden retrievers, but they're not for a reason. And then you are going to learn as much from the breeder as you humanly possibly can. So you love this dog. You love this freaking Bousseron, and the French people always get mad at me because I say it wrong. You love that Bousseron because I actually like how Bousserons look, but I say it wrong. I apologize. They look like a hairy Doberman. Good guard dog. There's something wrong with them. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong with them. I'd figure out what it is. I'd go find the best Bousseron breeder, and then I would talk to the breeder or multiple breeders, and I'd go, okay, tell me about these dogs, because breeders understand dogs. Breeders are weird people, but they know their dogs very well, and you should believe them. Then when you figure out the quirk or the weird part about him, you go get the dog. Doesn't matter to me. Just do your research.
So yeah, it's like somebody who gets a Belgian Malinois. Like no one else. I know they're popular, but no one else has them in the neighborhood, and they're like, hey, like, why doesn't John down the street have one? Why does he have a lab? Why didn't he go? Are these people crazy that they didn't get this type of dog? And then you find out that you're the crazy one. Yeah,
and that's a little bit different story, right? The Malinois and the Cane Corsos are hugely popular, but that's a different story. But that's like you know what you're getting.
But they're still
you should know what you're
hugely
getting.
Popular, I think, among like dog training people, kind of like the nerds. But like if you think about the overall world, like people are like a lot of them. Cane Corso, like they don't even know what a Cane Corso is. Yeah, I know it's not a Cane Corso, but you hear people say this, right?
Oh yeah, they say.
But I'm just saying, like a lot of people, like Belgian Malinois, like a lot of people think it's a German Shepherd. People that watch dog training podcasts, they know.
Yeah.
But your everyday person probably doesn't know what a Cane or a Dogo or a Boerboel is.
Yes.
They just know it's a big scary dog.
Yes. And those are popular, and I think their quirks are well known at this point, or becoming more well known, and people are just getting them anyway. But I believe people get these exotic breeds and they don't know.
I think
they need to know.
I think they know and they don't care. Like you got people like
you're
Garrett
talking
Wing.
Malinois.
Well, just in general, even like something like if you do, because you said do your research. I'm thinking, in the past you would go get a dog book and you'd read, but now it's like all on YouTube. So you think about Garrett Wing would say, like, they go, well, I want to get a Cane Corso, and he'd be like, don't do that. Yeah. Like, don't get one.
Yeah.
But they'll go, I don't think he knows what he's talking about, and then they just adopt one anyways.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Like you can't tell people no. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll tell people no. I think I will. Man, I was thinking about it on the way. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it on the way over here. Like, we're doing a podcast. What do I want this podcast to be? I want it to be helpful to people. I hope it's entertaining. But at the core of my channel is to help people. That's why I don't do cutesy little TikTok things. My TikTok channel was cutesy until I realized this guy started ripping off all my stuff, and he's created his own channel with my stuff, and he has like 200,000 subscribers. He's like killing it. And he just takes my
250,000.
stuff. So I go, oh, I'm going to do my stuff like you're doing my stuff. And I just did it the exact same way and like wrote everything the same.
How are we doing? We getting some clicks now or not?
Yeah, but
really?
I don't post enough. But anyway, I thought TikTok was for cutesy stuff. Like all my social media is just about helping people. I'm like, or I just post videos of me training. I don't do the cutesy stuff. My point is, I want this podcast to be helpful, unleashed. I want it to be unleashed, but I want it to be helpful. And so I was driving over here going, what's the difference between me and like the normal dog owner? And there's this big chasm. Is that a word?
Chasm, I think so.
A big chasm between me and the normal dog owner. And I go, okay, why is that? I think one, I've seen a lot of dogs.
One, you spend your entire life training animals. Don't forget that one.
Yes. But yes. And then I've seen a ton of dogs. And so things just hit me differently. But I think the main thing that people can do that's more like me is they can get more serious with their dogs. I know. It's time to get serious with your dogs. Like that whole they're not kids thing is in a way not true, because there's actually a lot of similarities, and in the way it is true. Like it's time to get serious. It's not all lovey-dovey stuff.
It's like
we're not messing around.
It's enough.
I did a video today that I don't think I'll post on YouTube, but I just gave it a shot. And I'm like introducing dogs to introducing this one board and train to this group. And there was a bull terrier in there, and the Doberman was the dog I'm introducing. There was Connery was in the mix. He was 100-pound dog. And I'm like, this is high stakes. We can't have a fight. I'm just walking around like, I'm not messing around with this group. And like, that's the one thing I wish I could get to people is like, walk around your house. And if your dogs are fighting, your dogs are biting people, like you are over the behavior and you're a different person. Your dog needs to see you. Your dog can't see you as like their buddy in any way. In any freaking way.
That's what they buy them for.
I don't care.
They buy them because they want a friend.
I don't care.
The wife doesn't like them. The wife doesn't like them. The kids don't like them. They're like, hey, I need a friend. I'm going to go adopt this dog. I'm going to play catch with it or fetch with it for 3 weeks, and then I'm going to ignore it and lock it in the back of the yard. Is that what happens,
go make a friend with your wife. Go make a friend with your husband. Go make friends in life.
What if they don't like their wife and they have crappy friends?
Then they're the problem. If you have crappy friends, that's a problem. What did you bring up? You know you're hitting it big when some TT account steers your content. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, you want to know the person?
Isn't that kind of funny?
His name is it's Animal Training Clips. Animal Training 5. He's got like 200,000, and then he started another one, or she, called Animal Dog Training Clips, and then he takes my long form YouTube and cuts it in half, puts it on Animal Training 5. Then he takes it and cuts it in like third or fourths and puts it on Dog Training Clips. He's got 100,000 on one, almost 200,000 on another one. Then TikTok does not care. You can steal anybody's anything on TikTok.
It's not good when the original content creator has less followers than the person stealing their stuff. Oh, that's either he's really good or we're really bad.
I just don't post enough. I just need to take.
It's like Instagram. You don't really engage that much on Instagram, and when you do, usually like flame people that are like in the comments, just like totally trash people about pit bulls.
Yes.
So like if you tried even half as hard as you do on YouTube, you'd be killing it.
I know. But
you don't care.
Nah.
What do you care about?
What do I care about? I care about BCP.
What is BCP?
Beckman Coaching Program, where you become a dog trainer.
Professional dog trainer, right?
Yeah, that's what I care about.
Who's it for? Is it for professional dog trainers and people that want to become one?
Only professional dog trainers, or if you really want to be a dog trainer. If you have problems with your own dog, it ain't the program for you. This is
Stop emailing us.
This is to make money in dog training. To make money, to make a living in dog training and leave your corporate job. That's what this is for. That's all it's for.
Quit emailing us if you have a dog with problems.
Yes. And people do email a lot about that.
And what will they learn in the program before you get sidetracked?
What did I just did recall. So my whole deal on your dog coming to you, 4 videos, we're done with it. We're moving on. your dog coming to you, all the intricacies of it.
Group classes, aggression, reactivity, right? The whole deal. You cover everything. Everything that a dog trainer would need, social media, blah, blah, blah. And if they want to join, how do they
email
do that?
beckmanventures@gmail.com and we'll get back to you.
Or if you're a spamming marketer, you can also send it to that email because we get so much spam on that one. Might as well add a little extra.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
That was a hell of a sales pitch there, buddy.
I know. That was good. No, it wasn't good. I know you're saying it's not good. Let's read some of these comments because they're kind of good, I think.
I'll be the judge of that. Who's this guy? Will Ish need to put my 2 shorts of body on TikTok?
Yeah, don't worry about that. All right. Let's take a call. I want to be helpful. I want to help people with their dog training problems. In a minute, why don't you put that number in there if you can?
You know what?
And if you disagree with me,
I want to help you. I'm happy to help. Yes. Let me put it in the comments. Here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, guys. Here's how you call us. If you want to call, you want to be on the podcast, I'm going to drop it in the comments and I'm going to paste it so they can see it.
And then this person says, my dog is my best friend, but like friends do, I tell the truth and show him there are consequences. Okay. All right. That's fine. You can have a best friend as long as you don't. Oh, happy Father's Day. Thank you.
Let me go to share so that I don't have to share it when they call. Share. Here we go. Okay. And we're going to go back here.
Was that enough on random breeds? I don't know.
I loved it.
What are we going to talk for 30 minutes?
Do your homework is what you're saying.
Do your homework. Understand that it's a rare breed for a reason. It's always a rare breed for a reason.
And should they understand they're probably going to lose interest in their dog in a year or two? Or is that not nice to say? Geez, we already got one.
Maybe.
All right, we got someone. This is Willamette.
Oh, it's a dog trainer.
Call from Willamette Dog Training LLC.
Willamette Dog Training LLC. Maybe
Where are you
they're
calling
in BCP.
from, Willamette?
I'm from Kaiser, Oregon.
Kaiser?
What?
Do you know where
I grew up in Oregon. Where's Kaiser?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up in Eugene.
So Kaiser's just north of Salem. I mean, it's actually kind of part of Salem.
How do I not? Oh, it's a suburb of Salem, right?
Kind of, yeah. They annexed in a long time ago.
If I haven't heard of it, I'm guessing it's a suburb. Yeah, I'm from Eugene, South Eugene.
Nice.
What's your first name?
Yeah, Melinda.
Melinda. I'm guessing that you are a dog trainer. Is that fair to say?
I try.
Nice.
All right. What's your question?
So my question is, what is your experience, or is there any knowledge about genetic influence done by a parent, like a parent's, life influences? Like if they had been abused or something. I've noticed personally with my dogs, with other people's dogs, that has a significant factor in the pups that are born out of those dogs. It can have a significant effect on those puppies. I'm just wondering if you've ever noticed that.
So I am not going to go from personal experience on this. Stay on the phone because it sounds like you have. I have not done enough breeding of dogs, nor have I done enough. Oh, come to my facility and I have a mom or a dad and I have the pup and I can sort of see this correlation. I have not done that enough times to be able to tell you. I'm going to go off one thing that I read. I don't know where I read it. And that is fear can be genetic. I was thinking about that the other day, though. Is it genetic or is it the mom is with the dogs for 8 weeks? The dog is a normal puppy, came out normal. The mom is fearful, right? Nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
But then I did see a article yesterday and I didn't read it. I wish I would have. I was lying in bed and it said, is trauma genetic? And I was like, that's interesting. And then I just went off of it.
Then
I went to sleep. But that's kind of what you're getting to. And that actually, I'm not sure if I would believe the article, but that's what it talked about. And I didn't read it, so I don't know. What do you think?
Well, personally, now here's just an example I have. So I had a mother dog who, she had 10 puppies, and she ended up actually having to be put down when the puppies were 4 weeks old. She got parvo. They all did, and they all survived except for mom. Mom had, just gone through having puppies, so she didn't pull through.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that those puppies, their eyes had not opened yet all the way. They were just starting to get to where their eyes were opening, And the funniest, oddest, craziest thing is that there's a picture I have of the mom, and she's like sitting on my bed. She's kind of got like just this, she's on the edge of it, right? She's got her front end up on the bed, her back end's on the
I
floor.
know what you're gonna say.
And then the puppy did the exact same thing. And that was kind of the start of it. I started noticing that.
Yes.
And then there's just so many characteristics that a dog would have to see that. It's not something that's innate. It's not like a predatory instinct.
Yeah.
It's not nothing like that. It's other kind of behaviors, maybe reactivity or something like that in a breed. And I have noticed that with other people's dogs. And that's kind of where it was coming from, was just, I was curious about that, if there's any information on any of that kind of stuff, because I think that should, be something to be looked into a little bit. How does that affect pups, and how does that change their outlook and, their future and everything like that would be kind of good information to know.
Yeah. I mean, that nature versus nurture thing never stops. It's been going on for years. I think scientists have a little more information on than they did 20 years ago. They don't I don't think they have a lot more. Plus, it's with dogs, so it's a little different. And also, these genes can be turned on and off.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these things. And like, I don't know. I just don't know enough. Plus, dogs are not people. So there is difference there. And they're going to do a lot of tests. I mean, I think tests on people and maybe less on dogs.
I think that, I like to speak out of school a lot, so I'm going to do that right here. But I would say that, the reason it's like this nature versus nurture thing is because it's both, right? Is like, there's an element of nature, there's an element of nurture. So they come together. You have like both of these things happening. But then if you think about it, like everyone knows that person that they met, and when they meet them, they're like, that person was probably beaten as a child or something. Like, like it's going to scar you for life. So then is the child or the adult now, when they have kids now, have they rubbed off on their kids? Of course they have. I
should have read that article. Trauma, trauma going through, but down to the kids.
Then you could get super crazy on the genetic side and be like, well, but what about before that? Like their parents probably beat the ones before that, which actually does happen. So if you go like further back, was there a genetic component that led to the abuse? So like, it's probably both that like both are.
And there is stuff done on like Holocaust stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard about
like
that.
fear. And there's actually a lot on that, I think. So
did you read that article or no?
What article?
The Holocaust one or no?
No, I just read the title.
I saw the title too. I swear I've seen what you're talking about. I've saw it somewhere.
I think it was pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah. For a minute it blew up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't remember where I saw that though. Yeah. No.
How's the Salem, Oregon dog training market?
It's actually not that spectacular. I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of I think people are catching on to the fact that Petco and all those different kind of big store brands, and stuff like that. They're not getting what they want out of it. I think that there's a lot of expectation there. I think that people, they're starting to anyway up here. I know down in California, there's a lot more going on as far as people being aware that dogs are not just a turn off switch. It's not just something you go, here, fix my dog and give it back to me when it's fixed. That's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more intricacies. There's a lot more variances.
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to catch on to that up here. It's just slower going, it's just, there's not as many trainers up here to have accelerated that progress very much.
Right.
Like versus like California, for instance, or even New York, or I used to live in Seattle. So Seattle, those bigger cities, you've just got so many more people pumping through there that like with anything else, the more numbers it's going to just, things go faster.
Yeah.
Here we're like 100 years behind, I swear. Like it's just been but then when you do get the good clients, they do stick with you a little bit more, I think. That's, but it's more of a labor of love around here. The economy's not that great anyway, so there's not a whole lot of a job market up here. So it's just, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
I like doing it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. It's a fun job being a dog trainer. If you can make a living at it, it's awesome. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for listening.
Good talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Bye. Whoa. Okay. We're back.
And we're back.
You want more calls? Do you have anything to say about that?
No, I said what I had to say about it. I want more calls.
More calls.
Let's
619-784-5580.
I want to know if do people watch this who disagree with me?
No one has ever disagreed with you. They know better than that.
That would be interesting. Someone on a call who doesn't who disagrees with me about training, I would love it. And you might be right. You might have a point, you know? So, yeah. If anyone wants to call disagrees with me or to ask me a question, that'd be great.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously the puppies and kids and stuff, they mimic, right? So much what the adult does or the parent does. Let's go ahead and take this call.
Call from
Lori.
Lori.
Okay. Lori.
Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Nashville.
Nashville. Go ahead, Lori.
Hey, so I had asked a question in the chat, and I don't think you answered it because you went to phone calls immediately. But last Friday night, a week ago, I was the one who answered the call to go pick up a dumped German Shepherd. He's a young dog, maybe 1 or 2. Easy kid, easy. Yeah, he's trying.
Are you
to chew
okay
my hand
over there?
Yes.
Go ahead, Lori.
So my specific question is, are there any dogs that it would be ill-advised to use a prong collar on? And the reason is I am unable to even give him what he needs right now till I'm able to find a rescue to take him. He needs obviously a responsible, strong owner. But I have a very small yard and he's becoming more frustrated. He has to stay in a crate when I'm away because of my place and doors and other dogs, yada, yada. And so I would like to take him on some walks, but I'm hesitant because he's quite strong, even though he was a bit skinny. And I am not a big dude. I'm not even a dude.
Yep.
So
okay.
I'm worried that maybe a prong collar will agitate him a little bit more. And yeah,
that happens. I am not anti-prong collar. It is a little bit, it can be a little bit more punitive, right? I call it acute pain. So it's a little more painful than even a correction on a normal collar or a slight correction on gentle leader. Those are uncomfortable. There is a little more acute pain on the neck if a correction is given on a prong. That can have an effect on a certain type of dog. And what I've seen with e-collars and prong collars to a lesser degree is I have seen a correlation between if a correction is given or the dog literally lunges and hits the end and feels pain and it's directly looking at that other dog that it already doesn't like. There can be a Pavlovian thing that happens where that dog starts to dislike that other dog more. That is my only problem with prong collars. However, I am loosening up on that a little bit when it's the right dog. And when I get that gentle leader on the dog and the dog goes, hell no, I'm not doing this gentle leader thing, then I am starting to go to a little more like maybe use that prong collar a little bit. So I'd say I'm not a big fan of prongs on small dogs personally. I'm not a big fan of prongs on young dogs. Garrett Wing would argue with me about that till the day he dies. But I am so there are trainers who all they want to do is pass a dog without the dog reacting. I care very little about that. If you've seen my channel, I am all about getting dogs together. So anything that possibly hurts that dog being able to be put with a group of dogs, I will not do. I wish I could separate myself a little bit and go, okay, we're going to fix your dog here, but your dog can never be with a dog. I almost don't fit. I am so big on getting dogs with other dogs that I just, it's always on my mind. So I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt that. And an e-collar can hurt that and a prong collar can hurt that. So did I answer your question? I don't know if I did.
I think so. I see a little bit of like defiance toward me and him.
Yeah. You just picked him up.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm maybe a little more with it than the average dummy as far as dogs go, but I'm by no means an expert. And I have 3 dogs of my own. I am actually a dog walker.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 ladies who saw him and started feeding him, unbeknownst to me before I got there, said he was being aggressive with them. Now, I don't know how they approached him. Right. Obviously, they brought him a bunch of food and water, but they were afraid and they thought he was aggressive.
I showed up, he walked straight to my car, and I don't know if I said it, but he was dumped. He was exhibiting all the behaviors in the place and staying in the same spot and very skinny. And so he approached my car, and I just opened the door, and he immediately had
Right.
his head right in my door.
Could have been you,
And
could have been the way you smell, could have been the way your car sounds, could have been the first two people put in
Yeah.
all the work and you kind of benefited from that work. It could be a lot of things, right? It doesn't totally matter. What I would say for you is like if I and I take board and train dogs who have just gotten to their owners and stuff, is like go with the big stuff first. Like go with happiness. Like find the single thing that makes that dog the most happy and just do it over and over and over again. If it's ball, if it's field, if it's friends, other dogs, if it's men, like go and try to get him that one thing that's going to stimulate his brain with happiness and dopamine. And then you just sort of go from there. Like that's kind of all that matters right now, most likely, is what he's had a lot of trauma. And we need to fill his head with like dopamine as much as we can, you know? That's what I think.
Like I said, my biggest problem with him, and I'm trying to find, like I said, a rescue someplace responsible to take him and help him. I just cannot give him the help that he needs right now. I have a very small yard with a fence, but he's not able to get physical exercise, and so I've been trying to work him out mentally.
Yeah,
like
he needs
loves
that.
to catch things.
Yeah, he needs physical.
But I'm just worried that putting a prong collar on him might make him a little more edgy and reactive toward me, which is not what I want. And I don't feel strong enough to take him on a walk because I've already noticed a few days outside, short little trips just close to my front yard, that he's reactive toward joggers, toward other people, barking. He thinks I'm his person now, and everybody else needs to F off.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. You got your work cut out for you. You know, I wish I could give you more, but it's a long process, you know?
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that was kind of sad. It's like the dog abuse day, I guess, on the podcast. We did get some comments, but I did want to call out what you were saying. So it sounds like what you were really saying is that you're softening on the idea of using a prong, but to be clear, you don't use prongs yourself in your own training.
No, I think
Unless
one or two
has
people
it on
showed up and they had it on. 99% of the time, take it off, but then sometimes I don't. But I'm loosening up mainly because I know good trainers who use them. Is one of my reasons. As I just go, listen, that guy wouldn't use it if it didn't have a benefit. You know, or low level e-collar stuff. They wouldn't use it. And one of the best trainers in the world uses low level e-collars. Yeah, and I can't say his name. Remember?
You can't use the person that uses e-collars?
No, well, he does a lot of things, but he asked me not to use his name.
Oh, yeah.
Once. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We should do like a Wheel of Fortune with his name and just like spin the tiles around and be like, you guys have to guess who this is.
I know. So strange.
We did get hopefully on a brighter note, which is you making several cents.
Yeah. Stop getting exotic dogs, including doodles. I've shaved to my pelts off doodles.
Too many pelts. He spelled it
shaved too many pelts. Oh, too many pelts off doodles. And most people have no idea how much daily work it is. Yeah, poodles are tough. They come to me at board and train, and I'm like, I go, we're not groomers, just so you know. Like it's a problem. I agree with you, Evan, who sounds like he's a dog groomer.
Yeah, I'd bet money on it, probably.
Too many pelts off doodles. Yeah, that's actually a good point about doodles. It's a job. It's a half-time, part-time job to keep their hair right. It's just so fine.
Is it called a pelt when it's a dog or no?
That's what this guy's calling them.
A pelt was like a beaver pelt or something like that.
Yeah.
What do I know?
And this other person, what did this person say?
Well, can we be sad for a second? Because isn't that sad about that dog? It's like, it sounds like they found it was dumped, and then now they're gonna like she took it in because she had to, because she was like, let me just get this dog, but she doesn't have the capacity to like walk the dog, and it's probably a handful. right?
That is tough.
So then it's like she didn't want the dog to die, so she helps it, but at the same time, like she can't walk the dog because it's too crazy. That was actually
Yeah.
sad. Like when I was young, we had a dog, but the dog was not that well behaved, the second series of dogs. And like, so it was tough because the kids couldn't really play with it because it was like too crazy,
Yeah.
and then you want to help it and then like attack you and like drop you.
Yeah. I think there is too much just like people getting, it's like keeping up with the Joneses, I think. It's like, okay, I got my 2 kids. It's time to get a dog. And I don't understand that.
Just think about this though.
I don't even understand it.
Think about this though. Like
Why people do that.
getting, like you can get a dog, but then someone's like, no, I need to get a dog that weighs more than I do. Like
Yeah.
you should think about that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, if you're 225 pounds and you can bench press 350, then yeah, go get the biggest dog on the like possible, but careful with a dog that outweighs you.
Yeah, for sure. Careful with the dog that weighs you, or careful with the Jack Russell Terrier, or Malinois, or some crazy, or getting a dog from the side of the road, and then the breeding's all jacked up. But I don't even understand just getting the need to get a dog. Like a lady called me today. I did a phone session with a lady. She has 3 kids and 3 dogs. And why?
Who knows?
Protection? Okay, I get it. Anything other than that, I do not understand.
I think like part of it too, though, is
I don't understand.
The kids want a dog, so they end up like going crazy and
Forget the kids.
Did you
Tell
want to say
your
a different word?
kids.
Or
Yeah,
no?
I was going to say
Don't do
another
that.
word. Dude, forget your kids. Like, they doesn't do wonderful things for your kids and be the best parent you can be, and love them and love their mother, or if you're a lady, love the father, which is the best thing for your kids, and then tell them no.
Tell them no, we're not getting
We're
a
not
dog,
getting a
kid.
dog.
I
They
mean,
go, I want a dog. And you go, I don't care what you want.
I remember doing an early podcast, and then
Can we go to the comments? Go ahead. I'm
then
listening.
I was saying, are you gonna read that one or no? I was saying like basically, oh yeah, whatever. Then I was like, I don't have a dog, and then someone's like, Eric doesn't have a dog, and I'm like, no. I'm like, that would be insane
Yeah.
with my kids
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
It would be completely irresponsible to
Yeah.
get a dog. Like, I should be spending time with my kids.
When I meet people and they don't have a dog and they're like have 2 or 3 kids and they're busy people, I'm like, good for you.
You're
you
like,
know?
don't do it.
Like you, good for you. It's
Yeah.
not the right thing to do. That German Shepherd got dumped probably due to it being too much for their life.
Yeah.
That's probably why that German Shepherd was dumped or ran away or whatever happened. It was too much for their life. It wasn't a single guy who let that German Shepherd in Nashville out into the woods. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah. It's pretty cowardly though, right? To just like let it out.
That is a weird thing.
So you're like, hey, I'm not going to take it to a shelter I'm just going to like throw it outside of the car.
It is an
like
odd
and let
thing
it like
that
maybe
happens.
starve. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see owning a dog if I had like, an acre or 2 and like it had tons of place to run around and it was more of a country style living,
Yeah.
but having like when you have a place where like you have to walk it because it's like you live in an apartment, not that I do.
The lady called me today and she was like, she has 3 dogs. They live outside. They have a big house. And she goes, yeah, I want to send my dogs to you. She'd never heard of me. She just heard about me from a friend. And she's like, I want the dogs to learn to walk on a leash. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a long thing for your 3 dogs. And I was like, here's how much it's going to be. And it was just a weird conversation where she just didn't understand the complexity of 3 dogs who have leash reactivity ending up being 3 dogs who walk next to her. It's so complex.
Yeah.
Hey, let's learn trigonometry. Let me teach you trigonometry while we're at it.
Yeah. No, it's
like,
I mean, even on the call with the gal from Tennessee, right? You were saying like, you got your work cut out for you, lady. Like, this is tough.
yeah.
Like you're like severe emotional and traumatic situations that have happened in this dog's life, and it's big and strong, and you don't have the place to deal with it.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Louis C.K. has a bit where he's like, well, I just got this dog from the streets from a rescue and just brought it into my house. It's like in the corner shaking. And he just like laughs at the complexity that we do that. Or that we just take this dog who had been abused and had trauma. And then we're just like, yeah, live in my apartment, dog. Dog's like, what the hell? It's wild.
I think it's like the best. I mean, the whole thing is like, I do think it's admirable to basically say like, oh, this dog's on the street. Let me like save it and then figure out what to do with it, especially if you see it and it's like thin and it's not been eating. It's probably like, I think if you see a dog that's like ribs are showing, you should take it in and like feed it.
Yeah.
And get it fat as you figure out what to do with it. And then, but
I've never seen like a dumped dog or like a wild dog.
Mexico,
I live in a city. Yeah. Besides Mexico.
Mexico, I saw a lot of them. But,
yeah, but they're cruising.
These were actually
and, like,
these were wild dogs. These weren't like dogs. These were
Yeah.
actual wild dogs that had become like live off the land, but they still aren't too hefty.
Yeah. No.
But
Never.
never
They
but yeah, you
overweight.
don't see a lot. I mean, California, you don't see a lot of like starving dogs.
Yeah.
At least not around here,
Yeah. But the kid thing, I know I will kind of go off on that, but people enjoy that. Yeah, learn to tell your kids no, and not just no. Dude, we were at dinner the other day and this lady was there with her kid and her kid was watching the iPad, right? We went to the Cheesecake Factory, which I haven't been in too many years. It's an interesting place. They have them. Yeah, we were up
They have
somewhere.
good bread there.
Where were we?
By the way.
And the kid was sitting there, right, watching the iPad. And the mom was here on her phone and the kid was on the iPad and she was feeding him food. She was watching her phone.
He wasn't even looking, huh?
No, he wasn't looking. And she was just feeding him food. And then this was the craziest
Were they in the
thing.
Matrix or what?
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Then the cheesecake comes. She literally remember how last week I said how you trade out the bully stick for the giant piece of chicken? She literally takes the iPad away. She's pulling the iPad away. He goes, ah! He starts to mumble because he kind of can't talk really. He goes, ah! And then the cheesecake, she times it where the cheesecake comes in and the iPad goes away. And then he goes, and he goes, and he starts eating the cheesecake. It's all over his face.
Like a savage or what?
He's like a little savage and it's all over his face. And the only way that she could get the iPad away was right when the cheesecake came.
Did she watch your video on the switching probably?
She might have. It was, you guys, I felt really bad about humanity from that situation that I saw. I am not exaggerating anything I just said. That's Orange County. The Cheesecake Factory in somewhere right there in Orange County. Oh, dude, it was bad.
So
that kid's going to be, I don't know what he's going to be.
I don't know if you know, there's a place
not a well-adjusted adult.
There's a place in downtown San Diego that's like a really nice sushi restaurant, and they also have one in Las Vegas rather. And so I took my daughter wanted to go there. Yeah, you're right. Nobu, right? I was going to figure out what that was. So I took her there. It's not that cheap, obviously. And so I took her there. We were sitting and, she's 16. So we're having a father-daughter, kind of restaurant deal. It was just us. And we had people next to us that were all sitting at the table together. And I think it was 2 daughters and then a husband and a wife.
Okay.
And maybe a small son. I can't remember. There was not someone looking up the entire time.
Oh yeah.
They were like this, just staring at their phones. And it was the coldest thing you've ever seen.
At Nobu, yeah.
And I was like, wow, why not just go get a Hot Pocket in the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're an adult, that's one thing. But kids.
But as an adult though, you're responsible to make sure that you tell people, hey, we're putting the phones down. We're going to eat dinner together. If you don't call that out,
oh my God,
as a parent, then you gonna expect your 7-year-old to call it out? They're not going to call it out.
No, it's so bad.
Yeah. We don't want to be bored anymore. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be bored.
Yeah, I told it a long time ago on this pod, or I said it in a video actually, in the Loose Leash Walking video. I'm like, your kids should be bored. They should have lost. They should have won. They should have loved. They should have loved and lost. They should go have all the emotion. They should go through the whole. They should be bored. I said that to somebody, one of our friends, and she looked at me like I was speaking Chinese, and I was like, Yeah, they should be bored sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you want them to live a life like the Wonder Years.
Dude, I've
Remember
told
that
my
show?
kids, I go stare at that wall. I'm just saying, go stare at the wall.
What, do they tell you they're bored, and then you tell them?
No, I don't know why. I think they were in trouble, and I'm like, just go look at the wall.
Jeez, that's serious.
No, I think it was like kind of joking, but maybe not.
Maybe
You
not.
got to vary up the consequences sometimes.
Yeah, what is that called? Variable reinforcement or
Variable punishment.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the old look at the wall, or do the ski chairs. Remember ski chairs?
No.
You sit like you're sitting in a chair, but you're against the wall, and you have to use your like thigh muscles to hold yourself up.
Oh.
Called ski. It's like a form of
Oh my God.
punishment. The
Yeah.
teachers there was a wrestling coach that made people do that back in the day.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. Toughen
Yeah.
people up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So again, it's with the kids. You
Yeah.
have to be a good parent, and then like you run the house.
That's
You
the
know?
thing about being a parent, or especially for me as a dad, like with kids and a wife, is that at least in my family, like they're kind of looking to me, right? Like, hey, what are we doing? What's going to happen? And so like, if I'm not on my A game, it has effects on my entire family.
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
like I could go out, oh, we're going to go buy 3 Malinois. Like, I'm just going to introduce that insanity to my house.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's not the kid's fault. And ultimately, you know how I feel about like who's responsible for everything. And it's like, oh, my kid got bit. It's like, well, who got the dog?
Yeah. Raising kids is hard, bro. It's so
If you pay
hard.
attention, it's hard.
Here's
if you're
my
on your
spiel.
iPad, it's not.
Okay, here's my spiel on raising kids. You have to choose what's important to you. And then you have to choose a few things that you want to go hardcore with. And there's like 20 things, and nobody does all these things well. Okay. You want them to be happy. You want them to be hardworking. You want them to be honest. You want them to be empathetic. You want them to be smart. You want them to get good grades. You want them to be high level in sports. You want them to be, I'm just off the top of my head, I'm at 8.
That's
right?
a
These
lot.
are
You can't have
big
them all, right?
No, you
That's
can
a
have
lot.
3 of them. 3. Pick 3. I'm telling you. Though maybe 2.
What 3 do you want for your kids?
Okay, but hold on. Pick a couple of them that are most important to you. Okay, then pick a couple, maybe 5 more that you want them to have, and then you have to get rid of the rest. No one has the time. All of those things take a tremendous amount of time and energy, and you have a job. You have to go to work, and there are only you want certain things. You got to take them out of public school. Okay. You might have to take them out of public school. Like you just can't have everything.
Like a competitive surfer, for example.
Yeah. Or you never want your kid to get bullied, which makes them feel unsafe. You can't assure that that's happening. That's not happening in public school. You will never be assured of that. So if that's important to you, then what does bullying possibly do? It could make them tough. It could cause a lot of trauma. We know someone going through it right now. They had to take the kid out of public school, and they were worried that there would be retaliation. So they didn't even go complain about it. Hardcore. They just pulled the kid out of school because there could be retaliation, like in the neighborhood kind of situation. So you have to pick your things, and no one can do it all. So what I think we have done is we have tried to go high level with a lot of things, but not hardcore with anything. That's what we have tried to do. But I know people who are more hardcore and their kids are better at these certain things. Maybe their kids are more happy. Maybe their kids are more empathetic. Maybe their kids are better at their sport. Maybe their kids get better grades than our kids. We're not great at anything, our kids, but they're pretty damn good at everything. And that's what we've done.
Pretty good at they got some high level stuff going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One or 2 things maybe, but if
you're right on the money. I mean, the thing about you need to prioritize, right? There's only so many things. There's so many hours in the day, and I like to do a lot of. I have a full-time job. We have a pretty successful business that we're working on. You've got a separate successful business that you've got, right?
Yep.
We got a lot going on. We both have kids. We both have a wife. Like I have a lot of hobbies. I think you have some hobbies too, right?
No,
not really.
No.
Yeah, I'm the hobby guy, right? I always am doing something. Like I got but there's all these things I'm into, and they all take time. And I'm realizing like, oh, Like you can't do archery and you can't do Muay Thai and you can't do like you can do them, but you can't do them while you Spanish. Like you have to divide and conquer. You have to pick some things you want to win at and then do them. Otherwise, you kind of it's like I've heard that the definition of multitasking is the art of messing up more than one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's
know?
interesting.
Although it wasn't with messing wasn't the word, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, it's like if you really dedicate your like, I really want to go hard on these two things, you're going to end up probably falling short, especially like with a surfing or a competitive endeavor, like sprinting. Like you can't be doing sprinting and then doing another sport. Like you have to kind of pick
can't.
at the highest levels.
Yeah. Do you want your kid to get really good grades? Okay, they're going to have to not do certain stuff. They just are. They can't be out with their friends quite as much and be getting full straight A's and 4.5 GPAs. You want your kid to be the best at their sports? We're dealing with this right now. My daughter's friends are off doing normal 14-year-old girl stuff. And I go, you got to make a decision.
Yeah,
that's not your
way,
life.
Right?
That's not your life. I'm okay with her decision, but she's got to make a decision because that's not what your competitors are doing. I tell her they're not off doing normal stuff. Now, does she do? That's my point. We sometimes choose to do that stuff where other parents don't even choose. High level kids in sports don't even choose to do that stuff. Now you got to weigh that and you go, well, is my kid going to be a normal, well-rounded kid? If I just go hard in this sport and they become a professional at it, then they're going to get anxiety or whatever. That's my point is we walk that line pretty good. I think my wife and I, but
it's tough though, right? Because we're not going to get out of this thing alive. Right. So you've got to understand that, you know, we're going to be dead in 50, 60 years. Like, what are we going to do to enjoy our lives? Hopefully our kids enjoy their lives. And, you know, yeah, if I have the choice of good grades or not grades, I'll take the good grades. But there are some times where you're just like, hey, we're going to go hang out as a family. We're going to go on vacation. We don't care that there's finals. We're just going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're putting family first. Yeah. And that's what, remember a few months ago, we talked about like, that like kind of like life hierarchy. Like you eventually have to come up with a hierarchy for your own life. Like what is most important? Is your family most important? Is your work most important? You have to, if you don't, you can say that your family is most important, but if you never spend time with your family, then your kids probably think you're full of crap.
And, you know, yes. And it's totally, and then how did I was thinking how we got into this. It's from the dogs thing. Those two dogs are going to completely take you out from one of those important things that you're trying to do in your life or you're trying to do with your kids. And they might take money away. And from doing those things, you need money to do stuff, to go on that vacation, to buy your kid that new surfboard or whatever. Now it's going to the dogs. So, you know, you got to make choices.
Yeah. You know, you're free to do whatever you want, but you got to live with the consequences.
Yeah.
You want to take another call?
Yeah, sure.
Let me put the number on for everyone. Although I think we should come up with a little jingle so that people can like memorize it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like
what is the number?
Like
619-784-5580.
But we need like an old jingle.
I want them to
anymore?
not be a jerk.
That's what she wants her kids not to be a jerk.
Oh, that's your goal for them not to be a jerk?
That's
pretty easy though, for them not to be a jerk.
Hard to say.
That's easy.
Would you think being on a cell phone the whole
4.5
restaurant is jerkish?
No.
Being on the iPad.
That kid was like
no?
5.
Oh, see, look at this. You ask and you shall receive.
Yeah,
you want to
people
call?
love it.
They love calling in.
Call from
Steve.
Hey, Steve, you're on the air.
Steve, where are you calling from?
Greencastle. Still driving in my tractor trailer today again.
Oh, yeah. This is our tractor trailer guy.
Yeah, he's like listening to us on the radio, kind of.
Yeah, he wants to be a dog trainer, but he makes too much money as a long haul trucker. Go ahead.
You guys didn't receive a super chat from me, did you?
No.
We'll go to it. No, we didn't.
Okay, that's nice. YouTube charged me and didn't give you guys my comment.
That's
Somebody
their
in the
specialty.
comments asked about corporal punishment or physical punishment to children. I'm actually curious what you think about it.
All right, that's interesting.
This is being recorded, Joel.
I spanked my daughter once for
I don't think you can even say that.
I don't know if I can, for being extremely like disrespectful kind of. It wasn't even disrespectful. It was like, my daughter's a very difficult child, actually.
You know this is being recorded, right?
She would be if I let, we have 5 people in our house. My daughter would rule the house if we let her. She would run it. She would tell everybody what to do. She would lay down the law. It is a constant battle with who is running the house.
Would it be better
with my
though?
14-year-old? It would be. And those children, when they're young, are very difficult children. And she was that. And I was told by one of my managers at SeaWorld, 2 religious ladies, they said, here's how you do it. This is years ago. Or she didn't tell me how to do it. She just said how she, and then you say, here's what I'm going to do. And this is for this. And then you do a little spanking or whatever. And then you hold them afterwards. And I was like, oh, okay, that is nice. This is a nice thing. And then I tried that, and then she just got really mad at me and did not even was not, and it didn't even work in any way.
Yeah, that's a
It
shame.
probably depends on the child too and the situation. I think I've always heard that you give a spanking to a child if something that they did was way the heck worse than what the spanking would be. So like if they would have broken an arm or died, like crossing the street. If they cross the street as a young kid and possibly get hit by a car, a spanking is probably better for them to learn not to do it.
Oh, there's a couple reasons for it. There, I don't want to say there's a need for it, but there's probably a need for it, in society. Yeah. Like this notion that you could never spank a child is insane.
Right.
It's insane.
It probably depends on what state you live in.
No, it doesn't mean you have to do it. It doesn't mean you'll ever do it. But the thinking that, I got spanked once and I remember it. I still remember it to this day.
I was spanked more than once.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and it probably worked for you too.
I'll tell you, there's a big difference between my mom spanking me and my dad spanking me. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Not just the pain, but the intensity and the fear when your dad grabs you.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but let's start to look at societal norms and what's going on in society, and look at the just fatherless homes versus non-fatherless homes. Well, what is a father? A father is in many ways is this person that is bigger and stronger than the teenage boy. That's what he is. If he is, there is something to that. There's lessons being taught. There's other things, but a father is just, there is a time and a place for a young man, especially, to go, I actually can't take that guy.
That's like a gorilla attitude.
It's a nature attitude. Yes. It's a freaking, it's nature. Want to act like this doesn't exist? Go to college campus right now.
It also goes back to your point of society's not hardcore enough, or they're way too lenient. There doesn't have to be extremes. You never beat a kid. I think everybody, the majority of people would say that they don't disagree with, or they disagree with beating a child. But
even yelling is bad. Any outburst, I don't mean to cut you off. Any outburst of anger is a bad thing. Nothing should be angry ever.
But what the hell are you going to do?
Right.
It is, and we do it as parents, and we go, knock it off, and we yell, stop. And it's due to frustration. It does nothing.
But do you know why? Do you know why you yell?
Because I'm frustrated.
When you don't yell, they just ignore you.
But we did that all. You did that all wrong. Yeah, but we did that all wrong. Yep. We did not set it up. We didn't train them right, condition them right. And it never works. Oh no, I shouldn't say it doesn't work. It works to stop the behavior. But I don't believe there is any time where anger at a child or anger at a dog does anything. It is. We have failed if we are then getting angry, but it happens. That's why anything should be done calmly. And then there is also just this presence that a dad should be in the home of just we are a presence more than we are anything else. We are the potential consequence.
Disciplinary.
You don't want to know what we can do. That's what my video today was about. and I don't, maybe I will post it now that I talked about it. I was walking around with all these big dogs, and I'm just like and I'm talking to the camera. I'm going like, your dog needs to look at you like, I don't want to know what this guy's capable of. And then you never have to do anything ever.
Yep.
You got me off on a freaking
and the yelling,
rant,
bro. That you're talking about is just like when you do your smack and you say, "Hey," to the dog. It's just to snap them out of it and say, "Okay, now you need to listen to me."
That's
like,
all
like
it is.
you're not angry. It's just to get your attention, and now you need to listen to me because Eric's right. The kids don't hear it, and I don't have children.
Yeah.
I've told you guys that, but I've watched my 4 younger siblings get raised, and I know how that whole thing works. And yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, that was a great call, man. Thanks for bringing up all those harsh realities of growing up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
See you, brother.
Good day, guys. Take
Later,
it
man.
easy. All right.
Drive safe.
Yeah, drive safe, brother. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, but the issue is that they're growing. So kids grow up, and or even, dogs change and stuff. So as they grow up, they're going to continue to push boundaries. So the boundaries that they were pushing today is different than the ones they were pushing a week ago or a month ago or a year ago or 2 years, 10 years, right? So like
totally
it's a dynamic situation that changes all the time. So, but you're right. Any type of anger, like you never want to lose your cool, but it's easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
And who can get you more upset than your wife and your kids?
Oh, nobody. Right? Obviously. I believe that I have a older girl and I have 2 boys. I believe that the hardest, and I don't do this, I'm not great at this, but like my son, for example, shouldn't go in the real world and have a boss be like harder on him than I was. So his first experience of having somebody be like, knock that nonsense off is from somebody that he knows loves him more than life itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you the story, dude, this is a crazy story. Him and I were playing basketball, and you remember when Allen Iverson stepped over Tyrone Lue? It's famous. He hits a 3. He steps over Tyrone Lue by the sidelines. It's just this highlight thing, and it is very Allen Iverson-ish. Me and my son watched that highlight like a week before. Then we're playing basketball.
You do it to you?
And he falls down. And he didn't just like kind of fall down, like he fell down. And I wasn't trying to be a jerk in any way, but I stepped over him, and it affected him. He was so emotional. It was first anger, then it was sadness, like almost to tears. Then it was holding back the sadness and holding back there. And he went through all these emotions. Now, if my son goes and plays competitive basketball, competitive basketball is gnarly, dude. Competitive sports with 15-year-old boys, everyone acts like it's soft. Like it's not that soft. Like there is a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And someone steps over him, that won't be the first time someone stepped over him.
So you did him a favor.
Yeah, I absolutely did him
Allen
a favor.
Iverson move.
No. It's a person who loves him more than anything, did that to him first, affected him in a way that nobody else could even affect him. If the next person does it, he's going to go, yeah, that's been done to me. And it's not the same. It's not the first time. He's experienced it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like how we've talked about in the past on the podcast about how on all like the Disney shows and those other like kind of teeny bopper shows, how the dad is the laughing stock in a joke in the family, right?
That's
where
what I've heard.
It's kind of like I think the way to do it is like, everybody in your family should be respected and treated with respect. And like, we're not putting up with lack of respect. That's like the number one rule not to break, right?
In your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
well, I'm trying to think if that's the rule in my house. Like, lack of respect. I don't think
being
of it
disrespectful
that way.
is like there's a lot of things you could say, but like being like, you could do what you want. Like imagine a kid just does whatever he wants. That's one thing, but to be actually disrespectful, like knock something over or to like disrespect you, like with words, like you would be like, what?
Oh yeah.
Like, so I mean,
it
takes on different forms, but ultimately I would always try to push my kids not to be disrespectful to anyone in any way, because like, to me, the disrespect just begets more disrespect. Like if you open up that door of like, I do whatever I want, I don't care what other people think. And then you just, 3 years later.
Can you imagine like how important your children being respectful to other people like is important in life? Like we did that. I talked about all these important things. Respect wasn't on there. Like Tell me something more important than that. Like, to your point, there's not happiness. I don't think it's probably more important than being respectful to others.
Yeah, if you're not respectful to me, you can go
Empathetic.
boo out.
Yeah, like you want your kid to be that might be the number one thing.
This
If you
guy
think
said,
about it right
is
now.
this Dr. Phil's dog training? You're actually, it is. Although it's a little better than Dr. Phil. But
Maybe,
it's, you know,
maybe
it's
it's
close.
better.
I think it's better.
Yeah. But we got to go.
Yeah. We got places to go, people to
Yeah.
see. Thanks for all the
Let
support.
me hold on. Don't end it yet.
See you guys.
Hold on. I mean, I know you're ready. I'm ready. But like,
You want to
I
put a
just
bow on
went
this?
off for like 20 minutes.
Bro, if they can't handle the truth.
Joel, wisdom is precious. It keeps life on a trail. I'm just reading something nice because if someone's like
Send them off.
Yeah, Joel, wisdom is precious. It keeps life on a trail for finishing the journey in ways that bring good fruit for the child, family, and I think of them, the child's
Amen.
future. Wisdom is precious. Okay. Yeah.
I guess
That's
we
all I
could
got.
say
I
happy
guess we
Father's
went
Day to
off.
all the old
Oh yeah.
all the fathers.
I didn't even
That's
think
maybe
about
that's
it.
why you did it. Maybe it was in
Kinda
your head.
Father's Day-ish. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't love your children, like they people go like I think I am actually my son's best friend. And I hear people go, your dad shouldn't be the best friend. Like if you can tell my spiel, like I'm no nonsense, but I would say I'm my son's best friend. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Dude, there's some carrot and
He's
stick
probably
going
my
on,
best friend.
right? You got a carrot and stick. You can't just be the
Yes.
stick all the time and just
No.
smack people around. Like you've
No.
got to build the relationship and you have to care about your kids and your family and your wife. You can't just be like, oh, I'm the disciplinarian. Like there's more to.
The best thing you can do probably is to love their mother and the mother love the father. It's probably the best thing you can do for your kids. Like show love. I think so. I mean, what else?
I have to defend my wife from my kids, especially the young
Physically,
ones.
you're like,
The young ones, they're
monsters.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're like, hey, they're just like trying to boss her around. I'm like, hey, back off, mom here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not good.
All right. Hey, love you guys. Hopefully that helped. Dogs, kids. It actually is.
Listen to
kinda
the
similar.
song Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young.
Yeah.
Teach your children.
Okay. Bye.
See you guys.